Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
It's Tuesday. You know what that means. It's time for Ignition with the AEW Fan Hub podcast team. This is Kelson, and we've got a lot to talk about tonight. How's it going, everybody?
Nice.
Oh, man, what a week. There's been some crazy crap that happened this week that had absolutely nothing to do with what was in the ring. But we'll get to that. You know what I want to talk about first, though? Just briefly, is this stacked AEW Dynamite card. And I can't bring up the card because I'm having a little bit of a technical issue. Same thing that happened to us last week. Very odd. But anyway, once again, Dynamite seems like it's stacked. And we've had how many weeks of stacked Dynamites and collisions?
At least three at minimum. I'd say AEW's been really holding it down for about 2 or 3 months.
Absolutely. It just won't quit.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the entire month of February we just had great show after great show after great freaking show.
Yeah, I mean, personally, remember a couple of weeks ago when, due to illness and whatnot, a lot of wrestlers had to miss AEW Dynamite, and the show was kind of rewritten that day. And it was still a good show. It was a little bit disjointed, in my opinion, but it was still a good show and people loved it. And I don't think anybody would have even realized that it was that way.
Yeah, I've noticed whenever stuff like this comes up, Tony is really good at rebooking on the fly.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and move on to our first topic. And the first topic we're going to talk about is jet speed. They've been getting a mega push. They really have been getting a mega push. And there are others in the Jess. Please mute. I can hear everything you're doing. Sorry about that, everybody. But they're getting a mega push to the point where they're not only the World Trios champions, but it seems like they're in the World Tag Team Championship picture. They're in the World Championship picture. And looks to me like other wrestlers in AEW are poised to get the same treatment that have never gotten that treatment before. What do you guys think?
Love it.
Yeah, same. I mean, I am a big fan of Jet Speed, big fan of people Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight separately. Really enjoy them as a team. I'm all for them getting a push. And I'm all for, some newer names getting that push because, right now you look at the main event scene and not a lot, but you have a few top tier guys that are probably getting near that, okay, I'm going to start winding down. So you've got to find those guys who are ready to, move up into that spot in the next 2, 3, maybe even 5 years. But you've got to find them now and at least get them where people see them as guys who can hang with the main eventers of today.
Right. I do want to pause here. We have somebody in the chat, Skateboard Sandwich, talking about Dynamite. He said, to quote, the wrestling beaker, banger after banger after banger. Can't argue with that, buddy. Can't argue with that at all.
Well, I mean, to your point, these are two incredible talents. Speedball Mike Bailey has been on the scene almost 20 years. Everything he's touched is absolute gold. And Kevin Knight, my God, what a hire. The dude could do almost anything. I think I have to agree with the overall consensus of it's Tony finally has found his footing in, hiring outside of the old NXT WWE team and investing into new and younger talent. Not that Speedball is younger, And not that these guys aren't coming from a place where Tony keeps sourcing talent, New Japan, because they love AEW so much right now. But, love to see these guys continue to go over. They look fantastic with belts on them.
Yeah, and AEW ROH, Fightful just said that they hired ex-NXT talent, worked with Top Dollar. That was what was he? Ashante the Adonis. And he did wrestle on Sunday at the ROH tapings in Jacksonville. So he's coming on. Shane, to your point, I mean, look at all these young talent that have, we're going to be talking about Zeta Steel soon, but she's already wrestled 9 matches in AEW ROH, which equals the same amount of matches she had in Evolve. So
I mean, there's plenty of young talent on tomorrow's card. I mean, you got the Inspiration, you got the War Dogs, and my God, Thekla. Jeez, no one talks about her nearly enough.
Yeah, we've actually talked about Thekla quite a bit here, and we were actually all for Thekla beating Chris Statlander the first time they faced each other. Because I don't know how you feel about it, Shane, but our consensus, generally speaking, was that Statlander really wasn't doing it for us.
Now, to be fair, talking to me about Stat, like, that's my woman, so she's always going to be doing it for me whenever she's on screen. What's up, Alf? What's up, Sutton? Miss you, dude. So I'm impartial because I think Tekla's fantastic, and I think, just to kind of stay on topic, the way they're pushing new talent, the way that they're showcasing new talent has been really good. So I think it's really good for AEW and Tekla, to stay strapped up at least for a little while longer.
Yeah, I mean, is there anybody else on the roster, whether it's on AEW or in ROH, that you see, getting at least a minor push to secondary belts that are, that way may eventually lead to something bigger for them?
Megan Bain.
Well,
yeah,
all day Megan Bain. She looks like the final boss. She looks like Jade Cargill looked. She looks like the final boss of the women's division.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, don't forget about Lena Cross.
Oh, true.
I feel like maybe in ROH, Dalton Castle and the Outrunners might get a push to the trios titles. Right now, I want to say it's Shane Taylor Promotions that has them, but it's, we've discussed a lot trios titles both in AEW and ROH, and I'm a fan of them, but it's kind of like combine the titles, let it be, one set, use it on both shows. Don't say they're ROH or AEW, just say they're, the trios titles and leave it at that. Let it be a fun belt that gets passed around a little bit because of the chaos of trios matches in general. But I think Tony Khan likes all 3 of those guys, and I could see him putting those belts on him and maybe using them to make him mean a little more. But also, those are guys that are going to have fun matches that the crowd likes them all. So yeah, I'd say they're in for a trios push.
I like that Speedball and Jet Speed are really got an edge to them now. I joked around that they could maybe not be as much face as maybe tweeners like what Hangman is right now.
Gotta say something, Sutton, you are the worst speller I've ever seen in my life. And I mean that from a love place. That comes from love. Called Shane Skate. Okay. Okay, Skate.
I'll take it. Actually, now Shane's not back, and this is Skate speaking.
This is Skate. Yeah. But go back.
Correct.
Yes.
Skate or die.
Skate or die. But I want to go back to Jet Speed because do you see both of them being World Tag Team Champions? And then when you look at the major belts, I guess, in AEW, I guess you could say the TNT Championship, the Continental Championship, and of course the AEW Men's World Championship. Do you see any? And I'm not saying that they have to capture the belt to be relevant, but I think that they need to be in the picture, for the push. It makes them relevant. To be in the picture is what makes you relevant, not the title itself, in my opinion. But do you see any of them in these title pictures?
I could see Kevin Knight winning the Continental title in a third match with Okada. Because right now, he's one up on Okada. So you do the title match, possibly at Revolution. Okada wins it, and then you set up down the line, we're 1-1. Let's settle this. And Kevin Knight could definitely win that one.
Yeah, I just think I have said it before, and said it, and I'll say it again. I really, really, really am a fan of seeing younger wrestlers develop. And when I say younger wrestlers, Mike Bailey's in his 30s. He's not super young. He's in his prime, but he's not been afforded the chance to shine like the chance that AEW is giving him currently. At least in my opinion. You guys may disagree with me on that, but this is what I enjoy. I like seeing new talent or veteran talent that have never had the chance to shine get that chance.
I'd personally like to see Speedball take that title away from Ricochet. That'd be a great match, and I think Speedball could carry that title just as well as Ricochet is.
Well, I mean,
I agree. Go ahead, Shane.
I mean, Kelson, you kind of said it though. Speedball and Ricochet kind of fall into the same category because they're around the same age. Yeah, I mean, I would say that Speedball is closer to his prime than Ricochet, but I don't know, man. I'm kind of I'm kind of bored with Ricochet right now because it feels like he's not wrestling the way that I grew up seeing Ricochet wrestle, and it's like the gates of agony are getting the forefront over him. I feel like Ricochet is more of just like a distraction at the moment.
Yeah, but I kind of think that's on purpose. Wouldn't you agree, Shane, where they want to make Gates of Agony relevant, and Ricochet really doesn't need that relevance as much because he's already got a belt around his waist.
And yeah, I see what you're saying. They looked great in that was a 3-way, 4-way last week. Holy crap with the Bucks and the Rascals. That match was incredible, but the Gates of Agony looked imposing. So yeah, I mean, I see your perspective. I don't know. But in my opinion, I think Ricochet's better days are behind him, and hopefully he never hears this because I'm really not trying to get roasted by him on social media.
I was just thinking this is like, he's going to call you all kinds of names on social media because that's him.
The Mark, get out of here, bro.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I love him. I love his matches.
He has no shame in going after people online. I think it's fun to watch.
Well, the thing is with Ricochet is that he can defend himself online. He shouldn't have to, but he can defend himself. But by the same token, that being said, there are other wrestlers that, again, they shouldn't have to defend themselves from the trolls. And that brings up what happened to Harley Cameron last week, getting run off X. And, what was said to Zeta Steel, which did not work out for the idiot that said what he said, but it did make the news. I mean, are you guys aware of what, first of all, happened with Harley Cameron?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's freaking ridiculous. Like, blaming her for the injury and all this stuff. Like, it's freaking wrestling. Injuries happen. No, she didn't make it happen. She didn't intend for it to happen. It was just a crazy accident that happened. And any person blaming her or trying to talk crap about it to her is just a friggin' moron.
Well, I have something to say about that, and I'm going to take over this segment a little bit for just a second. Indulge me. Air Gold on X. I mean, he used to be on this podcast for a very brief time. He was a decent guy, and then he got addicted to being an asshole, basically, and he says whatever he can to be an asshole. And I believe with Harley Cameron, he said something to the effect of, Harley Cameron effing sucks. Well, look, here's the thing. When you say something like that, you have to back it up. If you believe you could do better than Harley Cameron, honestly believe that you could do better than Harley Cameron, then maybe, yeah, if you really have to, you could say Harley Cameron effing sucks. But if you have no clue what these wrestlers, and I have no clue what these wrestlers go through day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, etc., the pressure that's on them. Shane, you kind of can talk about this because you did a interview with Dr. David Reese, who's the staff psychologist with AEW. And you know that there are things there's pressure that are on these wrestlers that we don't think about.
Man, listen, that interview was great. I'm going to comment on Air Gold first. To be more deliberate about what he turned into, and you could come at me, dude. We've talked a million times. You're a clout chaser. All you care about is engagement. You stopped caring about the game, and if you really cared about professional wrestling, you would have paid attention to what Harley Cameron was doing in the first place. Harley Cameron is one of the few women in the locker room that utilizes every second she's on screen. She's quick on her feet. She's not the best women's wrestler they got. Come on, that's obvious. You don't have to be fantastic. I mean, everything that she gets involved with turns to gold. I could take it all the way back to her feud with Mercedes Moné. She didn't have to win those matches, but I got excited every time I seen her on screen with that puppet. It was fun. This is our escape. Why take it so seriously, and why blast someone who literally potentially could end their life just to entertain you? Not to mention that this space is still occupied by misogynistic, incel, basement neckbeards that haven't seen a woman off of a TV screen in most of their lives. Man, get out of here, dude. These women are amazing. These people don't know what they're talking about.
Well, I still live in my mom's basement, so I can't really speak about that.
Man, come on. No, you don't.
But figuratively speaking, yeah, because, first of all, Shane, you hit the nail right on the head. There are so many. Did you see? I can't remember what was it. Hog that JD from New York showed up at, and he just stepped in the ring and was like, I'm glad to be back. And my God, he got booed lustfully is the best way I could put it. And it wasn't booed in kayfabe. It was booed because I believe people just generally did not want him on a show that they paid for.
They chanted shut the F up at him, like, anytime he even brought the mic near his mouth. It was freaking beautiful and well earned. That dude deserves all the crap he gets. He's a racist, he's a misogynist, he's loud, he's obnoxious. Every stereotype about New Yorkers that exists, he exemplifies.
Yeah, people still give him a platform, though. The guy clips everything that happened at that HOG show. He pops it on a YouTube short. He gets 12 million views, and he gets a small paycheck and a gold plaque. But, I mean, the problem is we're still giving these people opportunities to have platforms. What we need to stop doing is booing these people and go radio silent at shows. They'll stop getting booked. I've seen it.
Bring it up too. Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was just reminded of something, like that tack was taken like way back in TNA when people were so disgusted with Jeff Jarrett that instead of booing him, they would just get up and turn their backs. We should do that to that sort of people.
Amen.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about JD from New York is that when Blue Sky first was getting popular, he joined Blue Sky, but Blue Sky's a little bit different than Twitter. When you block somebody on Blue Sky, they're blocked. In other words, let's just say Shane quotes something on his page, and I follow Shane, and he quotes something that was said by JD from New York or Air Gold or whoever. I've blocked these guys. I don't see them no matter how many times, Shane quotes them. Unfortunately, on Twitter, that doesn't happen. So guess who isn't on Blue Sky? Is JD from New York doesn't do anything on Blue Sky very much, and neither does Air Gold, because he can't get the reaction, because they're going for their attention whores. They just want attention, and they'll get that attention by any means necessary. Now, did you guys, are you familiar with what happened with Zeta Steel just a couple days ago?
I saw her reply, and funny enough, it was from someone I have blocked on Twitter, but I still saw the reply. I'm like, who is she talking? I mean, it's like, oh, it's this freaking moron. Yeah,
Yeah.
he deserved to get roasted.
I did not hear about this. I didn't hear about this. Please fill me in.
Let me give you the rundown. A guy named Joseph Alexander, who is apparently a wrestling promoter, small-time wrestling promoter, and has a podcast and whatnot, just like everybody else that causes problems, said something about Zeta Steel to the effect of, she went from working in front of 300 people at the Performance Center to working in front of less than 100 people in a PBS studio, alluding to the shows on Sunday that Ring of Honor did, at a very small public access studio. He went on to say, nothing about stocks, nor popularity, nor effing math actually works. Bitch, shut the F up. Zeta Steel made a fantastic response. And she said, I wrestled in front of 300 people at the Performance Center. Wow, that's news to me. Anyway, I'm very happy where I'm at, and I'm on my own journey. I'm sorry you're not investing in my stocks. Perfectly said. I posted this on the Women's Pro Wrestling subreddit. One of the members there made a post saying, I've never tuned in to watch a Joseph Alexander match. That's all he said, and I shared it to Zeta Steel. Joseph Alexander immediately changed his settings to where only people that he's replying to can reply back, and he also blocked the AEW fan hub right away. I was just quoting something that somebody said, and I didn't think it was that bad. But my point is he can dish it out. He can dish it out. But something as simple as, I've never tuned in to watch a Joseph Alexander match, he gets butthurt about that. Grow some hairs on your skinny little you-know-what, bitch. And shut the hell up.
Yeah, man.
Most of these fools are just a bunch of soft-ass little bitches talking crap about people better than them doing what they wish they could do.
Well, everyone becomes a smart mark. After it's like you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, right? Like, especially. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. Especially for fans in this industry, man. I've been on both sides of that spectrum. At this point, it's hard to engage, because if you're so disposed, you're always like a hop, skip, and a jump away from potentially turning into a tribalist or an extremist, and that's okay, man. If you're into what you're into, just don't project your insecurity onto someone else for things that you do not understand. Shut your mouth online.
Yeah, go ahead, Jess.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it seems like people will decide to just be a jerk, to put it mildly, to get clicks, following the formula set by the biggest jerk in the space, the Corn who must not be named.
Who are you talking about? Because you didn't name him. I have no idea.
He's very corny.
I can name a bigger jerk than that gentleman.
Oh, please do, because that's going to be a feat.
Vince Russo. He's a bootlicker. Get out of here. He sucks.
That was
Not even JCW wants you.
Yeah, that was the name that immediately came into my mind when you said his name.
Not even JCW wants Vince Russo.
You thought that I was thinking, okay, here it comes. He's going to start with the name that begins with a K and ends in an N and has an ELSO in the middle of it.
Well, Eric Bischoff sucks too, but
Disco
obviously,
Inferno's terrible too.
yeah.
Look.
Go ahead.
Look, I'm not saying that you don't share your opinions. You know what I mean? You have an opinion, you can share it. You don't like something, say it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying it, but it's how you say it. Also, I don't like certain talents on AEW. That's well-known fact to anybody that's been on this podcast or listened to this podcast. But I don't tear them to shreds, and when I do make fun of them, I try to make it humorous. Not
I was going to
mean,
say,
but
yes,
humorous.
you do.
Yeah, but my point is that if you're just doing this, look, I moderate several wrestling subreddits from AEW to WWE to women's wrestling, which covers mostly Joshi, and you have your trolls. And if the thing about the trolls is that you can look at their post history, and there's two things that are very, very, they stand out. One is that they're not just trolling yours, meaning your subreddit. They're trolling everybody's subreddit, not just wrestling, but I think I even made this analogy earlier. You could have a post saying, "Man saves drowning child." And they'll have something to say about that. Why? Because they want attention. It's as simple as that. They want attention, and they're going for, in a wrestling terms, cheap heat.
Well, people like that have taken Sorry, go ahead.
The second thing is, and this is just something that I've noticed, is that, and I don't know why, but when you have a troll on Reddit specifically, I do not know why, but they always put either at the beginning or at the end of whatever sentence that they try to write, because they're usually awful spellers, and you pretty much need, an interpreter to understand what the hell they're trying to say in the first place. But they either begin or end their sentence with either LOL or LMAO. I do not understand why, but it's like, how, hello, my name is Kelson badge. When you put LOL or LMAO on the beginning or end of your comments, it's kind of like a introductory badge saying, "Hi, I'm a troll. Ban me."
They do it so that when people rightly call them out for being idiots, they can do "it's just a joke, bro, lighten up" BS defense. Even though it's not a joke at all, and they're 100% serious because they're stupid assholes.
And they get butthurt because their post was removed by Reddit filters. Most of the time, they get removed by Reddit filters. And then they get butthurt because nobody saw that post that they put such hard work into.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, in the last couple of months, I think Reddit has offered the option to hide your post and comment histories, and a lot of that kind of people like to do that, so they can't have their post histories looked back on and be called out for their BS.
Yeah, Skateboard Sandwich made a really good post here. He said, "Granted, I criticized the way they debuted Danhausen in that other place, but that didn't mean I hate the guy." Yeah, I mean, look, I criticized it too. I mean, it was a really bad debut. The fans obviously booed lustily for it. And frankly, between the PLE and Raw last night, we pretty much seen everything Danhausen had to offer in AEW. I don't know if you would agree with me or not, but that's my feelings on that. There's nothing else he could do but rinse repeat.
I've long said, I'll repeat it again, Danhausen is a great once-a-month character. His shtick is fun, when you see him at an indie show, in February, but you don't want to see him the next week. Like, nothing against him at all. I hope he has all some success in the world. Maybe WWE is the place where he will thrive being a weekly character. I don't know. For me personally, though, I think he's one of those who wears a little thin if you see him too much.
I guess I guess I'm the minority. I thought the debut was cute.
Yeah, you're not the minority there. Listen, I've been boycotting the Fed since Janelle Grant. Not that, we want to talk about that here, but I think that
Same.
if I think that I did see the Danhausen debut, and good for Donovan. Like honestly, it's a better that they weren't giving him these opportunities in AEW. He got mixed into the shuffle, with the conglomeration. The last big thing he did was Evil Danhausen. You don't have to like him, but the Fed has a history of being able to use Danhausen types effectively. Might I remind you that they were able to keep belts on guys like Goldust, Val Venus. Come on. Like he had like the Godfather, like I know I apologize that era is very crude, but I'm just, for lack of better comparison.
No, I understand what you're saying, but you also, I'm glad you brought it up. It was that era. We're not in that era anymore.
Well, can you fantasy book it? Like imagine he just cursed Dominic Mysterio, right? Now he's showing up like a excuse me, like an Easter egg everywhere. He doesn't have to be on screen at all times. He could be in the crowd. He could be hiding in a locker. Kind of akin to what they've done with Joe Hendry.
No, I get it.
If they can do something with Santino Morella and have him have championship and have him last that long, then I don't particularly like Danhausen that much. He's an acquired taste, but he's right. WWE does have a history of taking characters that are zany and working with them. So I think he'll work out, and maybe he'll do better. He has his boy Pepsi Phil there, and I think some others who like him. There's stories about backlash against him, but I think that along the timeline that fans are going to get into him more and more, and he'll pop up at every show. There's talk of him popping up in AAA in other places too, just doing his thing.
Right. I've heard a lot of people say actually that his best place for him would be in AAA, partnered with Mr. Iguana.
Iguanahausen.
No. Make his first feud be against Kit. Like that, it's perfect. They completely misunderstand. Huh?
The car?
No, not negative Ghost Rider. No, what is it? Kid, I don't know his last name.
Kit
Wilson.
Oh,
can you imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine those two together? I only know the dude because of his theme song, and what happened to his partner is absolutely tragic. No one should get hurt. It sucks, but I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. It'd be a good way to see how fans would receive him. Two polar opposites.
Him versus Dom, in my opinion. I think that'd be a neat little match.
Not to start.
Well, no. Well, I mean, he did.
Isn't that kind of what they set up? I mean, Danhausen cursed him, and then Dom didn't he lose the whatever title he had to Penta?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I saw. Just kind of scrolling through Twitter.
Can you imagine that more bad things start happening to Dom? And you know why? It's because he got cursed. Go eat
there
some
you
teeth,
go. Bud. Hey, maybe they make the curse actually mean something instead of, just pointing.
Yeah, I mean, in AEW it was pretty much, you're cursed. And then relatively soon after, they got punched in the dick.
Right. Speaking about getting punched in the dick, I want to move on to the War Dogs, who are known for punching and kicking other people in the dick. Let's be honest here. They are not signed, at least it's not been made official. They are not signed, meaning Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors, to AEW. I do believe that Clark Connors, I think Fightful did say that he was signed, but nothing has come of it. But they are wrestling tomorrow night, as are the Inspiration. So I'm looking for maybe Clark Connors and Jesse McKay and Cassie Lee to be announced as All Elite, maybe by the end of the show tomorrow night. You never know. But anyway, the War Dogs are or have been in AEW for quite a while. They've made several appearances in the last, month or two now? and
Yeah.
they're kind of, lack of better words, becoming staples in AEW. And when you look at Bullet Club as a whole, you know who else returned to action this week already? Do you know? Juice Robinson wrestled on
Ooh.
Sunday. So Juice Robinson is back. And he was with, I can't ever remember which of the Guns is not
Austin.
injured. Austin. So yeah, he was with Austin Gunn. And they had a match there were 30 matches at the public access
Damn.
place. 30 matches. And they're going back in 3 weeks, but the War Dogs tomorrow night face Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. I think that, what do you guys think? I mean, is this something that you want to see? Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors?
Yeah,
And do you want to see Bullet Club? Doesn't necessarily have to be War Dogs, but do you want to see Bullet Club reform with these guys?
I mean, I'm a big fan of both Clark Connors and Gabe Kidd. I mean, they've been New Japan staples for the last few years. I mean, Clark Connors is a former junior heavyweight tag champion, always great in the best of the Super Juniors. Gabe Kidd is, as he says, he's a madman, you know. Like, I mean, and he is nuts. He is brutal. He is a brawling bastard, and I love his style. It would be interesting to see if we got, you know, maybe Juice going back with his old buddies, because that Bullet Club Gold thing was Jay White,
It's
and
flaky though.
the War Dogs, they don't like Jay White. I mean, Finley kicked his ass out of Bullet Club.
Yeah.
So, like, they're not going to be cool with the Bang Bang Gang, but they might be okay with Juice Robinson because he was there for a little bit with Finley.
Hi, your local Bullet Club historian here. So, there is an open door for like a gigantic Bullet Club reunion, or at least a feud that includes tons of people that were in the Bullet Club from New Japan. I mean, like, we already have Kenny the Bucks, Hangman Adam Page. We have both of the Guns, Jay White and Juice. I mean, technically Tekla as well, you know. Technically, I mean, there's like Tony Khan has this thing about of nostalgia, dropping nostalgia bombs. I believe, as a gigantic Bullet Club mark, that, you know, it's cool to see the War Dogs over, but like, do they have permissions from Japan to use the moniker? We don't know. Like it. What's the Jay White's shoulder still messed up and he's still rehabbing it for as far as we know, you know. So I don't know. I think they're getting fed to Darby and OC, and if they're not, you know, how receptive are the fans gonna be to them if they don't do something more than just win the match?
No, I agree with you. Look, I am not an aficionado of Bullet Club by any means other than Bullet Club Gold, you know, because I really did not pay attention to New Japan, so I really can't speak on it.
Yeah.
But I do know of the Bullet Club War Dogs, so that has to mean something, that they were relevant.
I just think that they need one more member. Stay away. Actually, they're both growing on me. Gabe Kidd, I didn't like at first when he was with Death Riders, but I kind of like him with Clark Connors. He's coming off better. So I think they need one more person. Maybe still someone from Bullet Club Gold. I don't know. I'm not big on Bullet Club Gold anymore because they can't stay fresh and they can't stay healthy together. So
Right.
I say merge these guys and stop counting on Jay White or one of the others to stop getting hurt, and just merge them.
I think the thing with Jay White, and I don't know, obviously I'm not an expert on this, but it just seems to me that when Jay White battles through his injuries, he comes back before he's ready. I think they need to give him the time to actually get 100% healthy, because for some reason, when he came back, he just didn't look right. Does that make sense? He was
Yeah,
limping. He was limping when he was doing moves and stuff like that. I think they need to let him convalesce.
fully recovered. Yeah.
Exactly.
The biggest thing with the War Dogs, their MO is pretty simple: bring gold or bring bodies. So if you're gonna have someone else joining them, it's got to be someone who can do that. It's got to be someone who is either insanely talented or insanely vicious, ideally both.
Nosuke Takeshita leaves the Don Callis family. The dissonance is already there.
Hmm. Interesting. I can't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah,
He fits, but I think people are too ready to cheer for Takeshita.
Good.
You don't want to move him from one heel group to another.
I mean, unless he plans on usurping leadership for all of it completely,
yeah,
aggressive takeover, then he's the Yakuza boss, running one of
yeah.
the most significant, culturally impactful professional wrestling factions outside of, WWE in the history of professional wrestling. They're comparable to the NWO. There's no denying that.
Yeah, he deserves to
Well,
be.
I mean,
Yeah,
Bullet Club is no more.
Not an NJPW.
Well,
Well, and they own that trademark, so they would have to get permission to use it, and I don't think that's something New Japan is going to give.
I may be wrong, but didn't either, I can't remember if it was Gabe Kidd or Clark Connors, but didn't they refer to War Dogs during the last show in a promo?
yeah, as the Bullet Club War Dogs.
Yeah, so um, there you go.
And it's not that the Bullet Club doesn't exist. The House of Torture still exists. They touched the Bullet Club. It's that because
Well, I got to correct you there.
yeah,
House of Torture and Bullet Club split a while ago. They
they
had a
sure did.
big
They
whole crazy
they
feud from it, like so. That's no
you're right.
connection anymore.
You're right.
Sorry.
However, the Bolt Club has had sub factions before. Remember the OGs. Remember when Tamatonga and Tonga Loa broke off. I mean, it happens. It's part
Yeah,
of
but
you know,
the stipulation with their feud was if House of Torture lost, they could no longer use the Bullet Club name in any way, shape, or form.
and there hasn't been like I know in story it's are they done or not, but Finley comes out and says that they're done. But there are still people within the club that are wanting to work with the club. It's not like they couldn't place another person there to pick up the slack. That's kind of what's happened every time it's transitioned in leadership. God, I wish it was AJ. There, I'll say it for everyone else.
There you go. Well, the other thing about Bullet Club, if they do reform, is that they're going to need a woman in the group, because other than the Don Callis family, every other group has a woman in it seems like. So we've had that discussion before. But I do want to move on, because I think we're going to have quite a lengthy It's a Kafabe this week. But before we get to It's a Kafabe, I do want to bring up one thing. Pro Wrestling Eve is doing 2 shows this week, one on Friday and one on Sunday. Now, the Sunday show is their big show, Wrestle Queendom 8. Will Ospreay is one of the producers of the show, and he has been heavily promoting this show. And it's relevant to this podcast, because if you go and you look at the cards for these 2 shows, there are a lot of AEW wrestlers on these cards. Plus, there are wrestlers on these cards like Nina Samuels, Yu Yamashita, I'm sorry. And just a wealth of others, AZM, Zumi, Shuri. There are a wealth of wrestlers on these cards that, even though they're not on the AEW roster, they have appeared in AEW. If you've never, have any of you guys ever watched a Pro Wrestling Eve show?
I have not, but I definitely want. It was just one of those, man, I can't afford that extra little bit on top of what I already had.
Anybody else? Has anybody else here ever seen a Pro Wrestling Eve show?
I have
Yes,
not.
I
Shane,
have. Yeah,
you
of course
have?
I have. Yeah, dude. Like,
Yeah,
like they've been around for almost like 14 or 15 years.
yeah.
So a couple. They've birthed a lot of great talent.
Yeah, they birthed a
Of
lot of
course.
talent that's in AEW right now.
Of course.
And some of them, like Anita Vaughn, Sapphire Reed, they're really good, and they're not Riho from AEW, but Riho is they're talking about her with WWE. Uh, but
Really?
anyway, yeah. But anyway, these shows Friday, March 6th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And on Sunday, March 8th, the big show, Wrestle Queendom 8, at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, where can you watch these shows? You can watch these shows on the Pro Wrestling Eve YouTube channel. Now, in order to watch these pay-per-views, you do have to be a member at the championship tier level to watch these shows. It's $9.99 a month. So if you say on Friday morning, join for $9.99 a month, you will get both Women Behaving Badly on Friday and Wrestle Queendom 8 on Sunday, and any other shows that Pro Wrestling Eve does in the month that you're a member. Plus, you'll be able to go and look at their back catalog, and their stuff is so fun. It can be a little weird, but it's pro wrestling. So
Is Dakota Kai headlining that show? Do you know off the top of your head? I know they have like
on
Stat.
Wrestle Queendom 8, Statlander is the Pro Wrestling Eve International Champion. I'm not
Yeah,
sure. I'm not sure if they call it Intercontinental, but I think I'm right. It's international,
it's
and
international.
she is defending that against Charlie, who is Dakota Sky.
Kai, yeah.
Yeah, Dakota Kai, not Dakota Sky. Jeez. Yeah, but
That
Harley Cameron is taking on Amir Blair. That's going to be insane. Those two women together. I can't even imagine. Willow Nightingale's on the card.
Harley Cameron, I believe, is on the card.
Yeah, Harley Cameron's taking on Amir Blair, as I just said.
Yeah.
Jamie Hayter is on the card. Now, Jamie Hayter is in a, what is it? Is it a 12 or a 16 woman match? And they've only released half of the women's names. So there's at least 6 women that we don't even know the identities of yet. So it could very well be more women from AEW on the card. I mean, if you think about it, since September, you've had Julia Hart, Sky Blue, Willow Nightingale. I believe Riho was on there. Chris Statlander, of course. I mean, you've had a wealth of
Billy Starks, Alex Windsor.
Billy Starks, Alex Windsor, and Alex Windsor is on the card. But yeah, I mean, you've had all these AEW women that have already performed on just the regular Eve shows and have done well, and the reception for them has been big. Hey, and when you look at it, when AEW is going to be in England for All In Wembley, so it makes sense to give the women something like this, to get them out there, get their names out there, and that's it. Yeah, but it's a fantastic price, as Skateboard Sandwich has said. Fantastic price for an event like this. Well, events like this, it really is. $9.99 alone for Wrestle Queendom 8 is a steal. But let's move on to our final segment, and I think we have a lot to talk about. I know Shane has something to talk about, but we're going to go to It's a Kafabe. Now, every week I come up with a new graphic. Last week I wanted to do something cute because I have been doing disturbing graphics. And the cute graphic I came up with was Big Bill as Baby Bill in a blue bonnet and, pacifier, and got a little feedback saying that it was a little disturbing. So I wanted to go with something that is less shock value and more along the lines of, hey, you know what, Kelson? That one actually makes sense. I wanted to make sense and not be funny. So excuse me for being serious this week, but here's the graphic. It is the virtuosa as a virtuosa with a pencil thin mustache.
It's a kafabe.
It's a kafabe.
It's a
So
kafabe.
Shane, let's lose your virginity and it's a kafabe, and let's hear what you have to say.
I couldn't have unmuted my mic quicker. Man, I just want to talk about Darby Allin's Uber driver, man. I span down that whole that. Listen, let's touch on men's mental health really quick because clearly that dude did not have it all together. But I mean, I got to give it to Darby. I've never been known to be.
Shane, let me stop you there because there may be people here that do not know what happened. So could you give a brief rundown?
So Darby Allin was contributing to a well-known professional wrestling podcast in the back of an Uber. And the Uber driver was a very irate, overworked, middle-aged man and did not understand what was going on. He first accused Darby of doing something outside of podcasting, and Darby was just being cool, man. Like, hey, listen, I'm on a podcast right now, and then it escalated so fast. Like, hey, man, I'm on a podcast with 100,000 people watching, and the dude started screeching at the top of his lungs. Get out of my car! Get out of my car! Get out of my car! I'm canceling your ride. And then they dumped him on the side of the highway.
Jeez, I didn't know what happened. So I honestly did not. So I'm enjoying this, especially the way you're telling
it. I have to go watch the video now.
Yeah. I would just, again, you see, I was not like a Darby guy in the beginning, and I'm a Darby guy now. But Darby as a person, I'll give him his day in court. He handled it very well. I would have been a drama queen back there, dropping F-bombs and getting demonetized on YouTube. And there Darby was just like, hey man, it's cool. I'm not trying to upset you, but I can't get off the podcast right now. Get out of my car, get out of my car. It was very entertaining. Go watch it on YouTube. It's really easy to find.
What is it with people throwing Darby out of cars in the middle of nowhere?
No, he's usually actually getting hit by the car.
Or dragged behind it.
Truth.
Or throwing himself out of one.
Yeah, Darby loves cars and car crashes, and yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, now I'm going to have to go and watch it because with all the idiocy that had happened last week, I was like, I can't take anything else like this. So I purposely didn't watch it, but I think it's calmed down enough to where I can actually go and watch it.
Here, I'll do you guys a favor. I'm posting it in the chat.
Oh, boy.
So you guys that are watching it live could come back and see it. Smash that subscribe button.
Yes, please do. Anybody else have It's a Kafabe?
I do. I have two, really, but I'll just do one now and wait until everybody else is done to do the other one. Just for the sake of everybody getting to their stuff. We touched on it earlier, but I admittedly have a soft spot for Danhausen. I saw his Elimination Chamber debut entrance thing on YouTube. I thought it was really cute, actually. Doubly so when turns out one of the Girlhausens was his wife. Like, aw. But I actually heard that some of the people who are in attendance who were asked about it and said, like, they didn't boo because they didn't like Danhausen. They booed because he didn't do anything but an entrance. It's Danhausen. You want to see him do something funny. And he didn't. He just did an entrance.
Well, he did give Michael Cole the sharp teeth. I mean, that's high comedy right there.
Yeah, that's entertainment.
No, I think they wanted to see him, like... Sorry.
I saw the interview, and yeah, I liked it. Like, I like Danhausen in small doses. That was my deal with him. Like, And well, like, I hope he has all the success in the world. I thought the entrance was fine. Yeah, and the booing because he didn't do anything kind of makes sense.
I mean, from the beginning to the end, it was like 2 minutes and 20 seconds. That was all the time he got. I mean, he did probably have a little bit more time to do something else. I mean, he had, would you call that a musical number? I don't know.
It was theater, that's for sure.
Why waste his entrance on a pay-per-view? I don't understand. Why not do vignette? I don't know, vignettes and you're missing maybe on that word. Why not do more videos with him and stuff and introduce him that way and find out who Danhausen is instead of just this is guys, that's Danhausen. People complain about AEW and say that they don't introduce their people properly. Well, I kind of feel that's what happened with Dan.
I agree with the MK. The other thing about that, I think it was Brian Alvarez who did a video short I was watching. It was like, look, he said all the Girlhausens, as Jess calls them, were bigger than Danhausen. The announcers are bigger than Danhausen. Everybody in the crowd was bigger than Danhausen's a tiny guy, and he didn't do anything. And and the crowd booed lustfully. I do think with Danhausen is that he doesn't need to necessarily be in front of a live crowd as much as doing backstage stuff like he did with Pierce on Raw. I thought that was good. I really did. I thought it was good.
I thought it was funny too, just like calling like Pierce like Stone Cold in disguise. I cracked up.
All right. Well, does anybody else have it's a kafabe?
I have one to piggyback off of that a little bit. I would like to start the search for Royce Keys. Where is he? Why do they keep on not putting him on air? And what was the purpose of him going over if you're going to keep on doing this? Would he have been better staying in? I don't know anymore. I don't understand why they do this to people.
It's weird because, and I'm sorry, Shane, but let me break in here because there was stuff going around on Twitter or X, if you want to call it, where, I've seen some memes and stuff saying, WWE says they have absolutely no creative plans for Royce Keys. Well, that's not what they said. WrestleVotes was the one that did the original interview or fact-finding mission, whatever, and when they were asked in like a Q&A or whatever, have you heard what's going on with Royce Keys? What's his creative? And the WrestleVote said, we've heard absolutely nothing as of yet. And people got that to mean that WWE has absolutely no creative plans for Royce Keys. Again, this is like, we had a problem with this with aggregation. I talked to Sean Ross Sapp very briefly through text last week because of some confusion about something that he said. And his quote was like, I don't know. And people left that out. And he said, don't aggravate me because I don't know, basically, is what he said. And people still quoted him incorrectly. So, but yeah, I mean, back to your point, MK, yeah, they got Royce Keys, and I guess he's in catering.
No, man, they're getting him ready to be in a faction with Aleister Black and the Ghost of Andrade.
The Ghost of Andrade.
And Ricky Starks is going to be the leader.
How about Ricky Starks? He's going by Ricky Saints now, and even I've heard WWE podcasts and everything like that, WWE fans, they all call him Ricky Starks. I don't even know why they even bother with the Ricky Saints name anymore.
Who knows? Because WWE made it up.
I guess.
Well, we're talking AEW superstars. How about good old Ray Phoenix? Poor guy. His brother gets a title, and he's stuck doing I don't know what, but...
Yeah. I believe they call what he has been doing sitting in catering or jobbing.
And it's a shame because when it comes to Phoenix and Penta, in my personal opinion, and this is not a slight toward Penta at all because I think he's fantastic, but I just think Phoenix has the bigger upside. I think that Phoenix is a better wrestler. And I do think that, well, of course, he is younger, so he's got longevity on his side as well. I don't know. If I were to pick one to push, I would pick Phoenix over Penta. But, of course, Phoenix did have the injuries, and maybe WWE is keeping him out of the scene, I guess is the best way to put it, simply so that he can convalesce. I don't know. You just don't know. Jess, you said you had another Kafabe.
Yeah. This is just sort of circling back just to something from the discussion on New Blood that I didn't get a chance to say before the topic switched. So I'm sticking it in here. This is sort of out of left field, but you know who I'd like to see more of? And maybe they're on Ring of Honor. I don't watch Ring of Honor as much as I'd like, but give me more swirl. I love the swirl. I like Blake Christian in particular. Every time I see him, I really enjoy his work, but I don't get to see him very often. Give me more Vanilla Baby.
Blake Christian is going to be thrilled because he's finally found his fan.
Is Jay Lethal still with him, or what's going on with him?
Yeah, he's still with him. They came out with him for his match against Ciampa on Saturday.
Yeah, talk about a great hire, Tommaso Ciampa. He's looked fantastic. And
Love
yeah, I
him.
know.
Skateboard Sandwich says that Swirl is going to be on Collision on Saturday.
Nice. But
Oh,
yeah,
they're in that four-way tag team match.
I like me some Blake Christian. I'd like to see more of him.
Yeah, wait a minute. It's a 4-way $50,000.
$200,000.
Well, Skateboard Sandwich said $50,000. What? Tony Khan's a cheap bastard all of a sudden? What's going on here?
On Collision, they said it was a $200,000.
Well, I guess along with the Outrunners. But
he kept putting all the money up for the Bucks.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I don't know. By the way, are the Bucks now calling it the EVP trigger again?
I think they're calling it the BTE trigger again.
Okay, because I meant to pay attention to that over the last week, and I forgot to be honest with you.
Yeah, because they're doing BTE again, so I think they've gone back to calling it the BTE trigger.
Okay, so look, I have a Kafabe because Elf Sutton isn't with us tonight. He's feeling a little bit under the weather, but he is in the chat. And he wants me to say, because as everybody knows, there is not a bigger Britt Baker fan in the entire AEW fandom. The biggest Britt Baker fan is Elf Sutton. I mean, the guy is possessed. He really is. He's obsessed with Britt Baker. Thinks that she is
possessed by Britt Baker.
He's possessed, yeah. Obsessed.
Dude's got a dentistry obsession.
Well, look, when
Adam Cole wept.
Yeah, Adam Cole wept, exactly. But
Sorry,
my point is that Sutton, even earlier on in the podcast, I think like 5 or 6 times, he's been literally chanting in text, "Bring back Britt Baker, bring back Britt Baker." It's really getting annoying, so I wanted to bring this back. And it's a Kafabe. Britt Baker is going to be coming back. She will win the AEW Women's World Championship.
Don't you dare say that.
Don't worry, Sutton.
No.
Your babe is going to have her moment in the sun once again.
Mercedes Moné for him.
Don't you put that evil on me.
No, because, look, because Sutton loves Mercedes Moné more than anything in the world except for Britt Baker. It's really, really weird. Sutton, this will teach you to miss our damn podcast.
Yeah, it's an obsession for him. It's an obsession, unhealthy obsession that he needs to get over. Talk about a fanboy.
He says, hell yeah, she's my Eddie. Oh no.
Oh
yeah, I was gonna say he loves Mercedes like you love Eddie Kingston.
Wait,
I do love Eddie Kingston.
Does he love
Too
Britt Baker how
soon.
I love Mina Shirakawa?
No, he likes Britt Baker like you love Eddie Kingston.
Oh, okay.
Eddie Kingston was an inside
Gotcha.
job.
It was an inside
Inside
job.
job, yeah.
Oh my god. Oh gosh.
Can we loop this back to Gabe Kidd took him out of the game?
He was sitting here by the Fed. Yeah.
That's why Gabe Kidd's one of my favorite wrestlers.
Get out of here, Eddie rules.
Yeah, well, by all serious aside, that Eddie Kingston has been reportedly suffering from migraines, and that's why he has not been around for a couple weeks. And in all seriousness, whether you like a wrestler or you don't like a wrestler, you don't like to see any wrestler ill. And that's especially true for somebody like Rebel, not Reba. I mean, that poor woman is going through it, and I'm watching and commenting on her live streams, and she doesn't strike me as somebody that wants pity, but she does want prayers. And Rebel, you've got our prayers. Whether you come back to AEW in some capacity or not is neither here nor there. I personally just wish you all the health in the world, and we are sharing your posts on our Instagram, and everybody's had the same reaction. Everybody just wants you to get well, and I'll make a clip of this and send it to you, and hopefully it'll inspire you a little bit, make you feel better for just a couple of seconds of relief of the mind with what people are going through can make a big difference, I think. All right, so does anybody else have a kafabe that they would like to bring up?
I just have the regular New Japan roundup stuff, so if anyone else has anything first, go on ahead. If not, I'll do that.
Okay, well, let's wrap up the show then with the New Japan New Beginnings roundup.
Yes, New Beginning USA this past Friday night. Excellent show. I thought top to bottom, great matches throughout. And it really kind of just built the whole show. I would say, for me personally, tag title match was probably the one I enjoyed the most. I'm a big fan of Knockout Brothers, big fan of Gates of Agony. They went to brick and battle in that one, and just, I mean, none of those guys are small guys, and they beat the crap out of each other for like 20 something minutes. It was a great match, whole show top to bottom. Can't say enough good things about it. Tonight, well, Wednesday morning, in about 6 hours, the New Japan Cup will kick off, uh, and we have the debut of a new young lion. Uh, Main show starts at 4:30 a.m. Eastern. Pre-show with the debut of the new young lion, 4 a.m. Eastern. If you need other time zones, go check out the Discord, the Pure Wrestle Chat. There is a decent list of them there. If you need more, like if the ones I shared aren't listed, ask for it in the chat and I will get it for you if possible.
Really quick. It was fantastic. I'm right there with you. I was bummed about Athena. I was bummed about Alpha. El Phantasmo, like, overall is fantastic. He's also a wonderful human, like, outside of professional wrestling. You know,
I
the
saw
show.
him knock the hat off a young child before.
Yeah, of course. I mean, when he was Bullet Club, Jay White Bullet Club. I mean,
It was in 2020. The kid was wearing an Lij hat and went up to him to do the Bullet Club
that's
gesture.
that's amazing. That's
It was
amazing.
great.
Yeah,
Like he kept chasing.
yeah, dude. And KOB versus the Gates of Agony was fantastic. I love that tag team. I hope they retain literally forever. I'm a New Japan guy too, so I'm not gonna hijack this podcast. We could break bread on that over at the Fan Hub server on Discord.
There you go. If you're watching this live, you can see the Discord server's link right there on your screen. If you're not watching us live, it's basically discord.gg/EPW Hub. Speaking of EPW Hub, which is Everything Pro Wrestling Hub, tomorrow night, right after Dynamite, Conrad and Derek with the Everything Pro Wrestling podcast will be doing their Dynamite review right after Dynamite is over. Please go over to their channel. It is on the screen right now, at EPW Show on YouTube. They're very good. I mean, they're funny. They've got a lot of people chatting with them, and they interact with the people in the chat a lot better than I do. And they're just a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun.
It's always a fun show.
Yeah, Chris is always always there, and they're funny. They've got great big personalities, and I always tell Conrad he would get more wrestlers if he sang more. So, and Conrad does show up on this podcast as well. He was here last week, and we love having him. Very knowledgeable guy, and our partners at the Everything Pro Wrestling Hub Discord. All right, guys, so we will be back with Ignition next Tuesday night at 8:45 Eastern. You can listen to us live on X. You can listen to us live on YouTube. And if you can't listen to us live, you can, of course, look at the archive of it. But we also post shorts based on this show. And we also, within a few hours from now, this show will be up on your favorite audio podcast platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, etc., etc. You can't help but not find us. Just search for Ignition, and you will find it. All right? So for the AEW Fan Up podcast team, thanks, guys, for another great week of discussion. We'll see you next week at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Eddie Kingston.
Hey. Come on.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, Hausen.